This is Katrina McHyde on the Narrow Path podcast series on Tim McHyde's channel here on YouTube. And for those you who keep up with the McHyde family and what's going on, the past few days have been wonderful. Some of them have been hard, I have to admit, in some areas, but other things are starting to really flow. So it's really great. I was busier in the last vlog post that I posted. I talked about how life was busy for me and I'm trying to figure it out. And Father gave me an answer that I didn't necessarily like, but he gave me an answer and it's working great, which was to readjust some things that I spend my time on. He was flowing me into using my time in a different way. He had me do my time in a certain way and do certain projects, but it was the end of giving that much time to certain projects and he wanted to transition me into new ones. So, sometimes it takes a minute to say, something's not right here. Things aren't going the way they should. And when you get that feeling, pausing and praying, and of course, many times during those times when you're trying to figure out what Father's trying to say, you hear it through other people, but you don't recognize that you're hearing it through other people and Father's using their mouth. Well, poor Tim, yeah. Of course, he told me before I finally got it, but after hearing it a couple times, he says, yeah, that's exactly what I said just a couple days ago. And of course, that always happens. We all end up playing that game on both sides. Like, I've been saying that for 10 years and now you're hearing it and you think you came up with the idea? Yeah, I'm sure none of you can relate. We all do it to one another, I'm sure. So we got through one of those and I'm doing better on knowing what to do and readjusting my schedule appropriately. So that's really good. As far as we had more movement, the workbook is starting to be written. The inspirations for the workbook, because we weren't going to write this workbook until we felt inspired, till it felt like it was going to flow. And we've been waiting for that flow. Some things I believe were holding it back in the spiritual realm, and I was really praying about that. I knew it should have been started already, but we just relaxed and prayed through it. And I know many of you have been praying and been excited about this workbook. What is this workbook about? Many of you know that we're writing a workbook on how to make this life function better. Literally how to do certain things and get through certain ideas in order to be able to get your walk with Father unstuck and your relationships with others unstuck and get through things that you're stuck on a personal level. So we're excited that's starting to come together. And it's kind of, in a sense, some of these vlog posts and the things that Tim writes, all the free stuff on escapeallthesethings.com, all of that stuff will kind of come together and be said even more elegantly in one place. And we plan on putting it up for free. Yes, we're planning on putting it up for free. We're so excited to be able to do that. So, and we thank all of our supporters for being able to back us up just enough for us to be able to do these projects, be able to eat, and be able to help a lot of people in the end. You are all a part of making this, and we appreciate your prayers and us being one body working together on this project. So that's coming, and we're excited, and may the flow continue. And also, I got to bring Tim and get him some, there he is now, the man himself. All right, he's into something there. Just checking on me. I got to bring that beautiful man that just walked through the door, my husband. He needed to get some things in town. He actually went to the bike store to pick up some things for his bike. And I caught him there and said, hey, by the way, can we go get some shirts for you? Because he's like many men. He hates shopping. He hates it. I'm okay with it. It's not my most favorite thing, but he absolutely hates it and he puts it off. And he's put it off for years. He'll wear shirts that have holes in them over and over again. And we have cats that like to be up here, and he loves to keep his cats up here. And of course, with their claws and everything. So most of his shirts have holes in them, and he's had it that way for years. So I said, would would you mind if we stop by since you're already shopping for your bike? And he was shopping for some clothes to wear for his bike, so that you're more aerodynamic. So he got to look at some of those things. He says, yeah, we'll do that. We'll go ahead and do that. It's been years. So I was able to bring him someplace and get him a bunch of shirts in one place at a great price. And he says, and I really need to get these glasses fixed. A few weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, his glasses broke. And he literally used red dental floss to bind them together on one side. He's been putting that project off too. That's how much he hates shopping, even for things that he needs. So we were able to work on getting him a couple pairs of glasses ordered and got some new shirts. So that's what's been happening at the McHyde house. Our son Zachary has been down just a little bit. He's recovering from just some seizures, but not as bad as it's been in the past. So he's doing okay. And our son Caleb, as you know, who is in a new apprenticeship at a little local cafe and at schooling that goes with the apprenticeship, kind of a thing that they have here in Germany to learn a trade. And he seems to be doing okay, going through what normally a person would go through in their 20s, trying to readjust to new life of being out on his own and having his first job outside of the home, all that. So he's doing good. So what am I going to share today? I wanted to share a little more about prayer. So I was working with a girlfriend today. We were working on something, and the idea of prayer has been going up in my head in many different aspects. You've heard me talk about some of those things. And I was going to share, when you feel like prayers aren't being answered, there's a couple things you can look at to see if maybe what might be happening to where you think that your prayers are not being answered. Because God is always speaking. He's always trying to show you something that you're asking. He says if you ask from him wisdom, and without doubting, he'll give you what you're asking for without putting you down in any way. This is in James. So we know that if we ask, we will receive. And if it's wisdom we need, we will receive it. So if you're not receiving it, there could be a couple reasons why you think you're not receiving it. Because in truth, you are receiving it, but you're not aware that you're receiving it. Why do I say that? Because God is everywhere all the time. He knows everything. He sees everything, and he loves you so much that he said he would never, ever leave you or forsake you. And if he didn't answer your prayer, it would mean he forsook you. Yeah. So what's broken? Probably your awareness of how he's speaking to you. So here are some things that might be helpful that I worked through the day. Number one is, are you praying according to his will? And you're saying, well, how am I supposed to know what his will is in this situation that I've been praying for on years? Or how am I supposed to know what his will is? Okay, valid questions. Very good, valid questions. The way that you can know if it's praying according to his will, very simply, is what you're asking about. Going towards loving God with all your heart, all your might, and all your soul, and loving your neighbor as yourself. All three of them. Okay, so that's number one. You've heard me say that before, but that's really important to know if you're praying according to God's will. If you are praying according to God's will, and you've gotten through that checklist, then it might be that he's giving you an answer and you're rejecting it because you don't like the answer. I was just sharing with you how that was happening for me. I wasn't quite liking his answer of what he was asking me to do less of in my day, so that I would be able to expand and do more of some other things that need to get done. So sometimes we just don't like the answer. If someone is telling you, and like I was just saying in my own testimony in these past few days, if somebody is telling you, well, have you ever considered this, or this might be the problem, and you say, no, that's not it, be suspect that it might be it, but you don't like that answer. Father many times he'll answer you, but you won't like the answer, so you'll reject it. So humbly take whatever you hear in whatever place you get it from, and sit and be slow with it, even if it hurts, and see if there's any truth in it. Don't just write it off right away or get offended by someone that tells you something, or even that crazy thought you have in your own head that doesn't make sense. Because many times he gives us answers that make us build our faith. So he's asking us to do something that we're either not wanting to give up yet, or it might be something that we just feel uncomfortable doing. It embarrasses us. So we have to push against that fear of man. Or it might be that you're not feeling like you really trust God, like that he 100% loves you and is telling you something that's good for you and everyone else around you. You might be having faith issues come up, trust issues, and that's a big one. I really look at that. When we reject ideas from other people or from God himself on what to do, like for instance, if you look at King Saul, he was told by Samuel to wait about doing the sacrifices that they were going to do till he came into town. And Saul got really itchy and scared because of the people around him and what he thought of the people around him. And he did the sacrifices on his own. King Saul did this on his own. And just as he was finishing up, Samuel came in and Saul said, "Well, you were late and I just felt like I had to do this." Instead of wait on God and what he was told through a prophet to do. So many times because it seems inconvenient to us, right? So King Saul didn't really trust the perfect timing of God. He didn't trust it, and he got scared. And he got scared of men and what the men were going to think, because they were starting to run off. They were scared because they had to face a war. And so everyone was starting to get really scared and not know what to do. So doing a sacrifice hopefully was going to bind everyone together and get them from running is what he thought. So he was trying to think on his feet and fix things from his human perspective instead of wait on God to allow people to run away if that's what he's called to do, and that God would provide a way in order to be able to overcome the enemies in a different way. So sometimes it's inconvenient what he's asking. Is he asking you to do something inconvenient? That's probably him, because it's impossible to please him without faith. And so he makes us do things, as you see through all of scriptures, he makes us all do things that take faith to do. Do we trust that when he gives us things that builds our faith, that it will be good for us, and that he loves us enough to exercise us that much? Just like a teacher at school who encourages you to do the task at hand better and better, and even when it's really hard and you struggle, even if in PE class it's very hard for you to get someplace, but the coach knows that you need to struggle in order to get there and to build faith in both the coach and in yourself, then wouldn't Father do the same thing? Wouldn't God do the same thing? So there are reasons why you think you're not getting answered prayer, and it may be that God isn't answering your prayer because he may have already told you some things to do that you're not doing. Now, I'm not talking about the things that you're trying to overcome and you're struggling with. I'm not talking about those things. If you truly are struggling with them and you're truly trying to get help and things are overpowering you, that's a different thing. Call upon God to continue to give you strength and overcome those things. I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about, for instance, forgiving somebody. And you're holding on to it and saying, I just won't do it. Don't have to, won't do it. I still love God, but I won't do it. That's like the rich young ruler not willing to give up his riches. And a certain amount, you get blocked to going any further. And sometimes Father needs you to do those things to open up the space to give you what you're asking for. So are there some things that you've been avoiding doing that you need to do, whether it's forgiveness towards others or towards yourself? Trust issues coming up, look for those trust issues and letting God know, honestly, I don't know how to trust you that much. Can you help me? I want to believe, help my unbelief, So those are some things that you can consider for prayer, and sit and just be quiet and listen for the things. Write down maybe your questions and then just be honest and very slow and listen for a while, because God is always speaking. He loves you, and whatever his answer is, which he's always answering, it's because he loves you. He's giving you the best answer. He's not going to lie to you, and he's also not going to tell you sweet nothings. That's not daddy. He's truthful, honest. He loves you. You need to know the truth to be set free. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. It only sets you free if you receive the truth. And sometimes the truth hurts. Yeah. So I hope this has encouraged you. Father, I ask that you help all of these people be able to hear you better and to recognize when you are speaking to them, because you speak in so many different ways. You might give them a hug through making traffic go well for them for one day, or being able to help their child get well, or be able to just simply give them a Hershey's chocolate kiss at just the right time. You know how to minister to each person, but you are love. So every loving act comes from you, and every good gift comes from you, and every perfect answer is always provided for you. And sometimes it's wait, sometimes it's, okay, well, you're asking a question that's at a quantum physics level, and you're at arithmetic. So we'll start at arithmetic and I'll work you up. Father, thank you so much that you are patient and kind. You are a perfect teacher, and you're a great daddy that loves everyone there, and you're always present, and you'll never abandon them, and you will never keep them stuck in something that you want them to have abundance. You want them to be able to flow and be creative and build with you. Help them to learn how to build with you and not on their own. I praise you in Jesus' name, Yeshua's name. Amen. All right. If this has been helpful, then leave some comments. Love to hear if this has been helpful, or if I can elaborate even more on points. You're welcome to come to escapeallthesethings.com and pick up a bunch of free information. We've got all kinds of free articles there, and you can see the latest vlog posts that I have up there. And let us know, leave comments there if you'd like. And we love to hear from you. We're so thankful for all of you and your support, and we hope that your walk with Father continues to get stronger and better, and you feel a direct link with Father for yourself and what's going on, and see all the transitions that can happen if you just stick on the narrow path. Yehovah bless all of you.